All right, folks, outstanding, outstanding, outstanding. The Quit Sugar campaign is growing bigger and bigger by the minute. Some countries have even gone as far as to ban sodas in schools. So what's the big deal? Why is sugar so bad for us? Well, here to tell us how our sweet tooth can have a sour ending is registered nutritionist Patricia Thompson. Hey, Mrs. Thompson. Morning.
Morning, morning.
Welcome to Smile Jamaica. What don't sugar in almost every single thing that we consume?
Yes, yes. And in fact, we do have taste buds, that are conditioned to have sugar. Okay, so it's been with us from day one. But we can have too much. And I'm sure we have all heard it. It's all over social media, all the various dangers of sugar, prime among which is dental caries, which sugar is not the only thing, but it's the prime. The various chronic diseases persons are afraid of. It contributes to it, especially if you have too much and then get overweight with it. Sugar addiction is a very serious problem. It is pretty much like alcohol addiction, drug addiction, anything like that. In fact, they follow the same pathways of stimulation. So this is why you get a feel good when you have something sweet. You know, you are depressed.
Sugar rush.
Yes, you are depressed or you're feeling a little tired and under the weather, you take something sweet and right away you get a sugar rush.
You're not suggesting that we should not have sugar at all?
Well, it's going to be extremely difficult to not have sugar, and I'm going to explain why. And to do this, I'm going to start with the food groups.
Yep.
Okay, so we have the chart of the food groups. I don't know where the chart is, if we can get it up on the screen.
There
we are. So these are the food groups. Foods are classified into groups, okay, according to their nutritional composition and so on. So what you'll see there is that we have 6 food groups that are needed for nutritional balance. All right? The staple foods are the primary starch foods, some of which do have sugar. Okay, then we have the legumes, peas and beans and nuts. We have foods from animals, which includes milk, which also has sugar, natural sugar. We have the fruits and vegetables
that have sugar.
Also have sugar. You see, and we have the fats and oils. So those are the 6 food groups that are necessary for nutritional balance. You'll notice that sugar is not listed separately, but it is incorporated in a number of the foods that we eat. So it's almost impossible to totally avoid sugar. So I have brought some models here that I'm going to illustrate how we can consciously control the amount of sugar that we eat, right? So as I said before, a slice of bread, for example, this is what we call a staple food. And most people eat bread. Now, we have sizes of different sizes of bread. Now, if you look on a food label, you'll see a serving. Okay? But for nutritional balance, I'm going to speak about portions, because the portions are controlled for specific calorie value and consequently the nutritional things that come with it.
The Miss Pat,
So,
that is a slice of bread?
This is a portion slice of bread. Okay, now you'll notice that the thinness of the bread is different from those that you'll see on the shelves. However, it doesn't mean that you're only limited to 1 portion. You may have 2 portions or 3 portions of bread. But the point is you can track your intake by the size of the portion, okay? So now, let's say it's Easter and you want to eat some bun, okay? So the bun will have to be cut the same thickness.
Thin like that?
Thin like this. Not to get the equivalent portion I'm talking about. But it will look like about 3/4 of a slice of a regular bread. In other words, it has sugar, more sugar than the bread. So it is more dense in calories or carbohydrate. Now, that's good for some people like athletes. Athletes are looking for their sugar density or their carbohydrate density, and so that's good. You see? So that would be the slice of bun. It's not that you can't eat it.
So you're suggesting that if we eat bread, it should be like this slice here?
If you're counting portions.
Right.
I will talk about the portions in a while. Okay, now let's say it's Christmas and you want to have some Christmas cake. We're talking about, again, that thickness, but about maybe about 1/3 the slice of this bread to give you the equivalency. You know, like how they cut the cake at weddings?
Miss Pat,
yes.
I don't know no knife can cut that.
No, but listen, no, you get a good bread knife. I have an excellent bread knife. Right? Like, and in country, you know, if you grow up in country, you must know the thickness. If you go into the schools in country, you'll see that they cut the bread differently from in town.
Yeah, what about the other stuff? Because we don't have a whole lot of time.
Right, we don't have a lot of time. Right, so let's look at juice now.
Right.
So if you're using juice instead of your fresh fruits and vegetables,
right,
again, you look at the equivalency. All right? So a portion equivalent of fresh juice would be this amount. approximately 8 ounces or a quarter liter. You know, the boxes will say a quarter liter.
Right.
But if it has sugar in there, coming from a concentrate or whatever, then it is 6 ounces is the portion equivalent, a little bit less, okay? The soft drink is the same sugar content, really. But the problem with the soft drink is the high phosphorus content, which for the teenagers especially who are building bones, that traps the calcium, and so the calcium doesn't get into the bones.
So you don't want that.
So this is why they want to ban it from schools, because these are young growing children, and so they need to be building their tissues, you know, and so on, okay? Now, if you're using free sugar, okay, so that's the juice and that's the sweet food.
Yeah.
If you're using free sugar, if we come back to the
Free
food
sugar, I
groups,
mean, like if I'm going to just put
like
it in
how
my
you put
tea.
it into your
Right.
tea. Now, sugar comes in various forms, eh? The free sugar can be table sugar, sucrose that we know it. It can be honey. It can be condensed milk. You know, there are various forms. And once it's a sweetener, and it's in a natural form, it's called a sugar.
Right.
Okay? So if we look back at the chart, you'll see that the food chart with the different food groups is divided into different amounts. So, and now the total for the day would be your total energy needs. Okay? And that will vary. So some people need only 1,500 calories for the day, which is the measure of energy you need. Some people need 2,000. Some, like the athletes, need 5,000 or 6,000. You see? So it's various calorie levels.
So those 2 little cups, though.
Right. Now, that's what I'm going to explain. The WHO, the World Health Organization, has determined that for adequate nutrition, your sugar content should not exceed 10% of your total calorie intake. In fact, if you utilize your food groups properly in diet planning, you might actually only get 5% of your sugar intake in your daily intake.
So the whole day we mustn't have more than...
Right. So for the average person now, the average person who requires about 2,000 calories per day, or maybe even less, this is the maximum amount of sugar. This is the 10%.
You know,
Okay.
me got more than that already.
Right, right. So this here is a little bit more than an ounce. So if you're using condensed milk, for example, you know the packets that you travel with? Right, that is a little bit more than an ounce, and that would be the equivalent of the sugar on this.
Antipat. Me
Yes.
got more sugar in it too.
Well, you may require more calories. You understand what I'm saying? Now, this amount of sugar is 200 out of your 2,000 calories. So the sugar actually replaces something else that you would normally eat, and this is one of the concerns, that your sugar is what we call empty calories. The nutritional value is not there.
Here what I'm not getting, and I'm not certain I understand. So you're saying that's the amount of sugar
average
for
diet.
the average, for the entire day.
For the entire day. Now, let's say you're an athlete and you need 5,000 calories
So I
per
need
day.
two of that then.
Then you could have 500 calories per day as sugar as opposed to 200 calories.
So with about 2 or 3 of that.
Yes, certainly, because this is 200, right?
Let me
So
that
the
be.
more active you are, the more your body can utilize the sugar for exercise.
How we get rid of the sugar, if that is possible? In other words,
You
if
don't get rid of sugar. In fact, anything you eat with carbohydrate, bread, you know, bananas, dumplings, whatever, when it gets into the body breaks down all sources of carbohydrate into blood sugar, which is glucose. And it's the glucose that's actually used by the muscles for exercise. So once the muscles get as much sugar as they can utilize, once you are burning up in exercise, so if you're not exercising there, you're not going to get rid of the sugar. So you will continue to build it up more than it can be cleared, and then it comes out into the urine. This is why one of the tests for diabetes is the sugar in the urine. Because the kidney clears it out, the excess that you don't use.
Wait again, Antipat. Forgive my ignorance. So if I have more than I should,
Right.
the only way I get rid of it
Is to store it.
and then exercise it off?
You exercise it all before you store it. When you store it, you store it as body fat. That's why you get fatter. Yeah? So once you use the sugar that you need for muscles, for exercise, if you're a sedentary person and only using 1,500 calories for the day, but you are taking in 500 as sugar, you have 1,000 left. You understand?
So
you have to work it off. But if you don't work it off, the body now converts it for storage into body fat.
Why you mash up there this morning?
Well, let me tell you
You
something.
mash up there.
This bread you would have to eat by itself. Because, Prince, not even little cheese can go between
Yes,
this slice.
yes.
How long it take to work it off when you say work
Well,
it
it
off?
depends on how much your sport that you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, so for example, if you are running a marathon, you know, you can easily burn that off.
Okay.
You see?
So you are suggesting that, yeah, we shouldn't have too much sugar, but
Right.
sugar in itself is not necessarily the worst thing in life.
It's the amount of
Thank
sugar.
you
Just
very
like
much.
with fat,
Yeah,
the
ma'am.
amount, just like with fruits, the amount, just
Yeah,
like with vegetables, everything is according to the
Bible
amount.
says everything in moderation.
Yes.
This bread and my fingernail are the same.
And the part you
So
know
this is why you go to the nutritionist for assessment. So we'll assess your needs and then suggest to you how many slices of bread you can eat when you want to eat
You
it.
know your stuff.
Yes.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too.
And thanks for coming. Registered nutritionist, Patricia Thompson. 10 minutes to your health. We'll do it again next Thursday.